Alright, evening everybody, welcome back to the channel. The Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach happened this weekend. It was another beautiful weekend in Southern California for the race. We had a first time pole winner in Kyle Kirkwood, which was great to see. The first two practice sessions were kind of dominated by Pato Award, and so it looked like it was going to be Pato's weekend to begin with, and then qualifying kind of hit, and he didn't have a bad round. He finished P6, but I'm sure it wasn't the round that he was looking for. But in Fast 6, Kirkwood was able to take pole position, his first ever pole, Long Beach. Perfect spot to do it in. Obviously, he had a rough first two rounds with the St. Pete. He had the crash and going for the Fast 6, or in the Fast 6, and then he had the crash during the race. And the incident with Rossi on pit road at Texas. So I'm sure for him to get pole, very, very good feeling. Regardless of anything in the past, you're always looking forward to get your first pole, but that actually probably made it a lot more special. We had some footage here from Automobilista 2. We are running the 2023 IndyCar mod that was just released for that, so we are going to use that at as many weekends as we can. Otherwise, we'll try and find tracks that maybe kind of resemble what's going on in real life, but that way we have some kind of more interesting B-roll than random stuff that I get, kind of deal like that. But anyway, back onto the race. Perfect weather, a little cooler than normal, but beautiful weather for down there. I'm sure everybody that attended the race was very happy with the temps. Big talking point with the race as far as strategy went was kind of the difference between the green Waiuli tires and the harder durable compound black sidewall tires, as the Waiuli were obviously really quick, but there was a big drop off as far as those went versus the blacks. And so it was going to be really interesting to see some guys, Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden, and others like that were starting like 7th, 8th, and a little bit back. They had an extra set of green Waiuli tires, but depending upon how the race shook out, it was going to really be curious to see if those tires actually did you any good or not, or if you wanted to be on the blacks. The consensus was you wanted to be on blacks, and greens weren't going to really do anything. So even though you had an extra set, it may not have actually provided you any benefit. So the race started, and right away, lap 1, we had a caution for Elio Castroneves, exited turn 1, looked like he got on power with kind of cold tires. Looped it, smashed the front, as actually we're coming right through here to the left-hand side. He smashed the front wing off the car. And so that was the first caution. And really the start in general was kind of under kind of some scrutiny from some drivers. And to be honest, Long Beach is kind of that way. It's really weird. It's hard because you come off the hairpin and you are trying to, if you're, say, like row 3, 4, 5, you're trying to catch up to the main pack. Well, if they haven't held long enough before they go, you are already on throttle trying to catch up, and then they go and you are already on throttle. You're not going to back off, so you kind of keep rolling. And so for people like Joseph Garden, who was starting 8th, he hammered it and actually ended up getting an amazing start, jumped all the way up to P4, passing cars. And so, you know, I understand people like Dixon who started in front of him, they're you know, kind of gripes with that, but to be honest, like, that's always been Long Beach. Like, it's just kind of a crapshoot when the start comes as far as when the leader goes. So anyway, we got past that yellow. We ran probably another, I think, lap 20, 21 before pit stops kind of started. And really, Kirkwood out front kind of just managed the gap. He didn't do anything with it. He finished the first round of pit stops, and Newgarden made a huge jump. He went from 4th to 2nd on the pit stop exchange. And they actually made contact with Kirkwood in pit lane as he was getting out of his box. A little controversy there. I don't think it was anything worth, you know, really any sort of like speculation or talk about a penalty or anything like that. And I think it was more just kind of a, oh, that was really close. And Long Beach is a tight pit road to begin with, so that stuff's maybe kind of going to happen. You got to have a little bit of leeway with that. But the second caution happened with the dive bombing of Pato Award into Scott Dixon, and this was something that was definitely a topic of conversation because during the race, I should say, is because should Pato get a penalty or not. And it's kind of funny because, as you can see from the footage, I picked Pato. And actually, I picked him before the weekend, and then obviously had the first two. So I did this footage on like Thursday or something like that. But he ended up having a really good practice session Friday and Saturday morning, and so it was looking pretty good that I did this B-roll, and it was going to be a Pato weekend. But come race time, it was a very different story. So anyway, we it was really interesting because so Pato had started on black, same way Joseph did, and so they were the only two in the front that did that. And so we hit the crossover point where the blacks were starting to get to be the tire of choice. Well, coming through this section here, he got a really good run on Scott Dixon. This spot was all done. He sent it in Dixon into this corner and came really late. Dixon had already committed to turning in. Pato came flying in there, hit him side to side. So they hit square. And to Townsend Bell's point on the broadcast, he hit him square. But the problem was he came from so far back to get there to hit him square. In my eyes, it kind of feels like it's on Pato. I do understand. So there was a no call from IndyCar. They let it be a racing incident. I get it. It's tough. Whatever kind of deal. So anyway, Dixon ends up later getting out of. He ends up being out of the race later on. Not necessarily from that contact, but from just kind of a myriad of situations kind of deal for him. Pato on another restart goes absolutely bonkers into the same corner he took Dixon out in. Ends up hitting Ericsson. Almost took out Kirkwood. And to me, it was just kind of like Pato was so quick all weekend. He's a championship leader. I don't know what was the need for all the desperation from him on that standpoint. But for some reason, he felt that he needed to do it. He did apologize to his team after the race and say that maybe you need to reel it in a little bit and understand the situation that they were in overall as far as going for the championship and everything like that. So he had a terrible result, ended up finishing 18th on the day. So the race was pretty straightforward from that standpoint, other than the fact that really like it was a fuel race. And so Joseph Newgarden, being on a different tire strategy, he was kind of the first stop. He had got to the lead after passing Kirkwood, being on better tires on that stint. Problem was, since he was on the greens on the second stint, heading to the next pit stop, he had to pit sooner. Meant his final stint was going to be a lot longer. So he was in basically fuel save mode the entire final stint, and that pretty much killed any finish that he had, as he had to basically, coast everywhere and let people go past him. So the race was really between Kirkwood, Grosjean, and then Ericsson, who cleared Herta and had a ton of pace. And he stopped the same lap that Kirkwood did, and they stopped a lap after Grosjean. And so I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but for where they were, whatever reason, Ericsson was able to have a lot of pace while fuel saving. So he ended up starting that like almost 6 seconds behind Grosjean and Kirkwood. And by the end of the race, he ended up finishing about a second behind Grosjean, and he was within that, but then at the end, I think Grosjean got the go-ahead on fuel, so he kind of was able to push the last lap and a half, maybe kind of deal. So, but anyway, for Ericsson, had he not hit the contact with Pato on the one restart, he would have been way more up into the fight. It might have been a different story, kind of deal like that. But at any rate, your winner, Kyle Kirkwood, first pole, first win, led a good majority of the race. Super ecstatic for him. If you remember from my preview video, I did pick Kyle Kirkwood to win a race this year. I did not think it would be race 3, but I did pick him to win a race this year. I did say if he could put it all together, I thought he was going to be unstoppable over a weekend. He got the pole. He controlled the race. Really, really well done for him. The kid is a mega talent. He's going to win a lot of races. And so I think this is just the starting point. It was sad to see Grosjean not get his first win. He's finished second twice, 2 years in a row now at Long Beach. And I know he really wants that first win, but he did a really good job. He played nice. He kind of was hampered by the fuel, so I think had the fuel been a different story, it would have been interesting to see how hard he would have went considering their team cars. The way the first 2 races went for Andretti Autosport, they needed finishes, and to finish first, second, and fourth was huge for them. So we'll run real quick through the top 10. We had Kyle Kirkwood winning, Roman Grosjean second, Marcus Ericsson finished third. That was your podium. Colton Herta finished fourth, Alex Palou fifth, Power sixth, Felix seventh, Marcus Armstrong with a great result in eighth, Joe New ended up 9th after the whole fuel save debacle that he had, and Scotty Mack finished out the top 10. So not really a great day for Team Penske, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles for you. Championship overall, Ericsson retakes the lead of the championship on the heels of his 3rd place finish. He's had a really good start to the year. Pato's 2nd, Alex Palau's 3rd. I got jumped ahead there. Joe New is 4th. Now we have a big drop off in points. Kirkwood jumps all the way to 5th with this win. Dixon 6th. Romain Grosjean is 7th. Hurtis 8th. Will Power is 9th. And Scotty Mack rounds out your top 10. That's the end of the championship. So really good first 3 rounds of the season here. Really exciting. 3 different winners to start the season. Always great to see. We head on to Barber Motorsports Park next for round 4, which should be pretty interesting to see how that road course shakes out. First permanent road course of the season. Looking forward to it. Thank you as always, everybody, for taking the time to check out the channel and get on top of this. Let me know what you thought of the season. Let me know what you thought of the Long Beach race. Look forward to talking to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.